Today I'm going to tell you an exciting story about a high-grade copper, silver and gold project in Namibia. Midas has acquired this about 6 months ago, and we're waiting for the licenses to transfer. That's imminent. And I'll take you through some of the work that was done by the major company that owned it before us, and where we're heading in terms of our exploration plans. Midas was listed in 2021. It's got a very strong shareholder base. A lot of you will know people like Steve Parsons and Mike Naylor. They are shareholders in this. Myself, with a background in Africa, I was the first CEO of Perseus Mining. Took that from a junior $3 million company up to ASX 100. An experienced team, experienced board, and track record in Africa. This is an opportunity. We've been looking for assets for a couple of years now. We were lucky to come across this asset. It wasn't publicly known. It was a large company that owned it, a large Brazilian company that owned it, and it wasn't advertised. We started up a conversation. We went through DD. The company had spent about $20 million US on this project, and we've acquired it for a $10 million acquisition fee, but it's spread. So we pay $3 million up front. We pay $3 million when we've completed a feasibility study, a further $2 million US when we decide to start mining, and $2 million 12 months after commercial production starts. There's no resources released on this project yet. That will come. And you can see some of the drill hits there. Very, very high-grade drill hits. Comes to surface. So these are unmined. These areas haven't been mined before. Large land package, 2,000 square kilometres. But look at that. Yeah, 17 metres at 7% copper, 144 silver. You've got infrastructure. Namibia is really good mining jurisdiction. We have rail, sealed road. We have grid power. We have water where we are. And as I mentioned, a very experienced team. I lived in Africa, in West Africa for 11 years. I was involved with Namibia historically. We went back on invitation from the government to Namibia, and this is where we started when we're looking for a project. Capital structure, after today's announcement, we just raised $11.5 million yesterday. We've got about 200 million shares on issue, market cap of around $80 million, with a decent slug of cash in the bank, 16.7 million. As I mentioned, there's some large shareholders there. Some of you will know Steve Parsons from his successors, and Mike Naylor, who spoke yesterday. So it's a very tight register. It trades very tightly, this company. It's held by a lot of institutions now are coming in. That last raise is essentially all went to institutions. So we have a good institutional shareholder base. We have some very good private guys in there as well as shareholders. The board, so we've got Sarah Kelly, myself, as I mentioned, as former CEO of Perseus Mining, Mick Wilson, a very experienced geologist, Mike Boehm is a mining engineer that helps round out the board. He also shared the board with me at Perseus Mining. Michael Naylor is our corporate consultant, and again, very experienced, also experienced in Africa, as so is Steve Parsons for that matter, as a big shareholder. And we have a very good team on the ground. We have a total of 3 Australian geologists, 1 living over there permanently now. We have several Namibian geologists and a very good team that we've inherited some of the team from the previous owners, but we've been building it. And we are drilling now, so that we're drilling on one of the adjoining projects. I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go. So the guys are gearing up. We're ready for the transfer of the licenses in the next month or so. When that happens, we'll bring in 3 rigs, and as a starting point, we'll start with 3 rigs and then build up after that. We're located in central northern Namibia. To give you some idea, it's about 3.5 hours north of Windhoek, about 500 kilometres by rail or road from the port, Walvis Bay. You've got the uranium guys near the coast. You've got the gold guys that go all the way up from southern Namibia right up to our border. Weir Gold, you might know Weir Gold. That's just raised 30 million to drill out its large Kokoseb gold deposit. Next door to us, we have B2 Gold. They've got a 3 million ounce gold deposit that they're mining at the moment. And north of us, we got the famous Suneb base metal mine. It's produced 6 million tonnes of copper, lead and zinc and 90 million ounces of silver. It's one of the world's famous base metals mines. And right next door to us, there's another fairly large copper lead deposit called Combat that's produced and has in the ground about 0.9 million tonnes of copper. So it's a great area. Geologically, very similar to the Central African copper belt, geologically, but the deposits tend to be more structurally controlled than what you get in Congo or Zambia. There's an example of a cross-section of one of the ore bodies. It comes to surface, high-grade, chalcocite rich. Chalcocite's a high-grade copper mineral. It means you can get very high-grade concentrates. I wouldn't be surprised if we average 40% concentrate copper off this deposit of T13 with very high silver credits. The concentrates there, I would imagine, would be over 1,000 grams silver. So very high grade, fairly predictable ore bodies once you're in them, open pit and underground. There's an example of a drill hit. You can see the rich black mineral in there, that's the chalcocite. You can see some of the grades. Because it hasn't been mined, all the high grade stuff's still there. As I mentioned, it's a large land package. The project we acquired from the major is about 1,800 square kilometres, and then we've acquired another 200 square kilometres, on the project we call South of Tavi, or Tavi South Project. That's gold and copper, that one. That project, we've actually got a drill rig on there at the moment, doing some RC drilling. But we're itching to get onto the main Otavi project, and we expect that in Q4 this year. There's another cross-section, and just the map on the bottom there just shows you how many targets we have on the project. We have dozens of drill targets. So what we will do is we have 2 projects that are close to resource. One of them will probably release a resource in Q4. The other one will have to wait till next year. We'll have 2 rigs, one each on those 2 deposits, and then we'll have an RC rig moving around, testing what we have, dozens of targets. We have dozens of areas that have drill hits in them or good soil anomalies, rock chips. We'll test them all with RC drilling because that hasn't been done there before, and we will turn some of those into resource targets. So we'll start resource drilling. We'll add more diamond rigs as we find new deposits. We're targeting deposits that are in the size range of 100 to 400,000 tonnes of contained copper per deposit. And we want to find a multiple of these. We want to build up a large resource, copper resource base, and that will mean a lot of drilling. So we'll keep adding drill rigs. That's why we raised the money we did. We want to hit the ground hard. When I was at Perseus, we were drilling anywhere from 50 to 70 kilometres a quarter on drilling. And that's the way you increase your resource base. The shareholders want to see us get into it, and it's just a matter of waiting for the licences to transfer. So Namibia, very good jurisdiction, grid power, good roads, rail. There's a smelter 100 kilometres from site. A port that's only 500 kilometres away. A lot of copper comes out of that port now anyway. A lot of the Zambian, Congolese copper goes out of Namibia. That smelter is looking for feed, so it's a great location. There's a mine. It's a mining. They are mining areas because you got the Otjikoto gold mine and there's a couple of copper mines operating. They understand mining. There's a workforce, English-speaking country. Timeline, as I mentioned, it comes down to the completion of the acquisition. As soon as we do that, we'll put out the resource estimate, initial resource estimate for T13, and then we'll get on the ground and ramp up drilling on the Atavi project. So it's news to come. We should have a good, strong news flow happening. We've built up a really good team, and we're very capable, and we'll be able to get multiple things happening on the ground at the same time. So, in summary, it's a pretty exceptional project, large project area, owned by a major, world-class work being done on it, really good intercepts, early discoveries. We're not dealing with a mixture of lead, zinc and all that, copper and all that sort of stuff. It's copper, silver, gold. And good grades, good widths. You know, T13 average is about 25 metres wide. So it's easy mining, open pit, good metallurgically, T13. And we have a team, a very strong team with a solid track record in Africa, and strong corporate credentials, and a very, very good shareholder base. And I guess it's fair to say management has skin in the game. So it's a great combination of characteristics for a company such as Midas. And that's lunch, I think, isn't it? Thank you.